Welcome back. We're so pleased to welcome back to the program, but although it's been a while, Ron Yacobucci's here from the now Masshire Quincy Career Center with breaking news, Ron. I knew you'd want me to say that to you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me
Sure.
back. It's a lot of things have happened since the last time.
It has been a while, actually.
Yeah, it's been a while. We have a new career center.
Yes.
So, so where do we go? Well, Mayor Tom Koch obviously has been designated by the governor to be the CEO of our workforce region, and on his behalf, I oversee that work. And really, the most visible piece of that is the Career Center.
Right.
And within this past year, we've opened up a new one in Quincy.
Okay.
Moved away from 152 Parking Way and over to 1515 Hancock Street in Suite 101.
Okay.
And it's a great brand new facility, and we're still seeing approximately 200 people a week that come in to file their unemployment claims.
Wow.
We're there to serve people not just that are unemployed, but also that are employed, that are looking to get better jobs. And we're going to be expanding those hours next year to be open in the evening so that we can accommodate the workforce that's currently working and give them opportunities to come in and use the services and programs that we have. But that's our mission, is to get employers connected to job seekers and put people back to work.
Where exactly on Hancock Street is that new location?
We're in what used to be the old Remix Learners Building on the corner of Cliveden and Hancock, which will be kind of another exciting pathway over the bridge and connecting into the garage and so forth.
Right.
So we're in a good spot. A lot of development that's going to happen on the Ross Way and behind us. And we're, I think, better physically located to accommodate people coming off the tee and so forth, and with the new parking garage that's going to open up, that's going to be tremendous.
Sure.
So it's very accessible for people.
Is it actually a city department, or how does it work?
Well, that's a good question. It's actually a combination of partners that work in state government, as well as, we're the operator of the Career Center. And we also handle all the fiscal matters that involve the money coming into workforce development.
From
and then
the state?
From the state, from the Department of Labor.
Okay.
And then, of course, you have the workforce board that the mayor appoints that sets policy and oversight for the operation of these centers.
Yes, I think Dean
Rizzo's the executive director of that. correct. So I oversee the department, which kind of brings all those together to work in harmony as a team. To make things happen for people. As I said, the career centers are the most public face of what we do. And under Governor Baker's leadership, they all get rebranded in the past year as Masshire. So we have approximately 30 of these centers all around the Commonwealth. They exist all around the country. But they now all have the same look and feel, so it's a better connection, which I think is important. A lot of them operated. We do a lot of the same things, but they had different names, and it was very confusing for people. So now we're branded as Masshire. We have in the Career Center. I'll hold this up. I don't know if people can take a look at that, but we're very proud of what we hold it up a little higher. Okay, there we go. So we have our own Green Monster scoreboard. A lot of the numbers that are on that scoreboard represent various important milestones in our history. So there's some significance to those numbers. But the more important numbers are the ones we keep beside the scoreboard, which show the number of job seekers we serve, the number of businesses we've served, the number of veterans we've helped, the connections we've made. That's really important, and we want to be able to demonstrate to people our success and our track record. And I think that's important to hopefully get people in and motivate them to want to work with us, and we can help them, in terms of getting back to work or improving the work that they have. So,
well, I mean, are they still needed? Unemployment is at historically low levels. The economy is booming.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So
You're rolling your eyes,
so I'm rolling my eyes, Joe. Well, so the unemployment rate is low. It's at an all-time low, but it's not a true indicator of what's really happening out there.
Okay.
It's more the participation rate. So when people stop collecting unemployment, we stop counting them, but they're still not working.
Okay.
We see those people, mostly long-term unemployed. We're feeling, really the pressure now with people that have greater barriers that are coming in because they're having difficulty finding work. So we get a lot of folks from DTA. We get a lot of veterans that have been out there for a while. Some of the more mature workers that were working. It's more of a challenge to deal with that population, but it's not a true indication of really what's happening out there, because you have that higher participation rate, or I should say lower participation rate. So you've got a lot of people that still aren't working but aren't being counted. So that's not a real good indication.
So what do you think is the true unemployment rate then?
I mean, people, you're looking at maybe, it varies, like, so different populations. Youth, the unemployment rate is a little higher.
Okay.
Mature workers, the unemployment rate is a little higher.
Okay.
You talk about the participation rate that I mentioned. You have a situation too where, we talk about we're creating a lot of jobs. It was the most recent jobs report that came out, 260,000 jobs are created. Fantastic. But what kind of jobs are we creating? We're not creating good jobs. We're creating part-time jobs. We're creating jobs that don't pay well.
Okay.
So we need to be creating good jobs. So that's another indication of, well, maybe things aren't as great as we think they are.
So a better question might be, what's the underemployment rate, right? Folks,
you're looking at probably a very high percentage, 7, 8, 9%, maybe even more, depending upon what category you're in.
Right.
So we're looking at that. We talk now about, because everything works in cycles. So we're talking now about becoming recession ready, because that cycle's probably going to hit. When, we don't know. There are a lot of indicators that are out there that could potentially trigger something, between the tariff situation, between the tax cuts, between the debt that keeps rising. I mean, there are bubbles that could trigger, that economy going in a different direction.
It came up in discussions at the State House just this past week, actually, where some economists were warning, don't spend all the rainy day money because the downturn's coming.
Exactly. So it's a things are changing too. I mean, we're talking not only about getting recession ready, but we're talking about the future of work. Everything has evolved from that industrial revolution to automation to information and technology, and now we're going into the next wave, which is the artificial intelligence, the robots that are coming. If we're not preparing our workforce for the changes that are going to happen, then we're again at a disadvantage, and that's part of the problem we need to be dealing with and need to address.
So how do you do that? I mean, do you team up with employers?
As I'm sitting here speaking here right now, our whole staff is going through a training session right now that talks about just that.
Is that right?
And we're getting into skills mapping, something called skills mapping, so we could take people that have and examine what their skills and experience has been and figure out what the next step may be for them. The difference too is also, in providing training for folks. And we have a significant number of training dollars that we could invest in workers, so we can improve their skills, so we can hopefully get them better jobs. And that's what the whole thing is about.
So help them pay for schooling, perhaps?
We do. Yes, correct. We do. Yeah, exactly.
And what institutions?
We're partnering right now with Quincy College. We've opened up a new career center down there. We're co-located with them. They could be a potential vendor. I mean, most of the other community colleges that exist around the Commonwealth, are better positioned to be flexible to design whatever training is necessary as we identify it. We've got some significant layoffs that are coming out of State Street, probably another 300 before the end of this year.
Really?
Before the end of this year. There have been 1,500 total, and we've seen a lot of those workers coming into our career center. We're dealing with the energy situation down in Plymouth, where there are 300 workers that were laid off.
That's right.
And we were able to successfully get a grant to help with some of that, and most of those workers are trade certified, so they get additional unemployment benefits as well as additional dollars that we could spend on them to retrain them into other jobs. And so that's what we're engaged in right now.
About how long does that process usually take, Ronnie, the retraining process?
It could take anywhere from a short 6-week to 8-week certification program up to a year or two.
It could,
When Quincy Medical Center closed a few years ago, we put together a proposal with UMass Boston. So, a lot of those nurses that lost their jobs had tremendous experience, but they didn't have the 4-year bachelor degree. They had associate's degrees. So we were able to engineer a program where we could, in 1 year, because UMass accepted all of their credits and gave them some life experience credits, we paid approximately $12,000, and we got them their 1 year of education, which gave them their 4-year degree, which got them back into the workforce. So that's the kind of thing that we try to put together.
Yeah.
So,
who is eligible to utilize the services of the Career Center?
Anybody can come in.
Okay.
I mean, basically you start by just attending a workshop that kind of orientates you to what the services and programs are. You become a member, and then you begin your journey from there.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Most of the folks that do come in, though, that we serve are folks that are on unemployment, because there are certain requirements that sort of drive them into the Career Center,
Yes.
because they have to come in and do a seminar. They have
see.
to come in and do a review
Okay.
that's mandated as part of being able to collect their benefits.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so you've got that, sort of base population that comes in, but we're open and accessible to anybody that wants to come in and work with us.
Okay. Staff-wise, who do you have at the center who's helping these folks?
We have about 30 employees that are at the center, and it's a mix of some city employees as well as some state employees from various agencies.
Okay.
And so we're all integrated, working as a team, and they have various, experience and skills as counselors, career counselors, that help people navigate, through what they have to go through to get back to work.
Do you also help? I mean, a resume seems kind of passé these days, but it's still important, right?
It's the gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and preparing them for the interview and helping them with their job search and all those things associated with getting them back to work.
Yeah. Career fairs, are you still involved with?
Yeah, so we have a business engagement team, and they deal with the employers and try to meet their needs. And so we do a lot of things. We've partnered with Gatehouse Media to run job fairs. We've done a lot of recruitments. Right now, we're in the middle of hiring several thousand census workers.
Oh, that's right.
So if anybody wants to work for the census,
Yeah.
if you're flashing that website, or just call our main number, which is 617-745-4000, and connect with us. There's a big push on that, and I know there's a big push in Quincy to get us over the 100,000 mark. And
they're actually opening an office in Quincy.
They're literally located 2 floors above us in the same building. Okay. So yeah, we've helped hire many of those people by recruiting through our Career Center, and we've trained many of those people, recruiting them, into our Career Center. Sure. And now we're working on a real good push to try to hire some of those part-time seasonal workers. Good pay, part-time work. So not a bad thing if people are looking to make some extra money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It might be a retiree, perhaps,
whatever,
or a student who has some time on their hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could that, do you think, lead to something bigger in the future?
I mean, it could. It all depends on where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might be just looking for some additional income,
right?
And they might want to take on the part-time job, which is okay. And some might. I mean, I don't know if there's a future in census until we wait another 10 years. But
the robots coming to our door.
Robots are coming to our door. Yeah.
Well,
well,
they're already delivering our packages. In some cases.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So
interesting.
Yeah. Well.
Your hours of operation now?
We're there 8:30 to 4:30 every day. Okay. Except on Tuesday, we try to pull our staff together for an hour and a half or so.
Okay.
Which is important, to connect and communicate and get up to date on things. And as I said, we're trying to look into expanding into the evening hours also, if that's
and
makes
you still
sense.
have the Plymouth Center also down Plymouth?
We have the Plymouth Center, operates the same way.
Okay.
We unfortunately we had to sustain a number of significant budget cuts over the last couple of years, because our funding is tied into the unemployment rate. So as the unemployment rate goes down, our funding goes down significantly.
Okay.
So we had to have some layoffs ourselves. But we're coming back, we're trying to generate additional grants like the Entergy grant, and we're able to bring people on specifically for that grant to service that population. And we did reduce our space, but we're in better space.
Okay.
So those are my goals. Change the culture of the organization, improve the technology of the organization, and look at everything we do and how we can do it better. And I think we've really, this past year, we've really have turned the corner, and are on the right track, to improving things, because we need to get better, given the changes that we have to go through, because we're serving a very critical population, and especially now the holiday season, and wishing everybody well for Christmas and New Year's, and we're entering a new decade now.
Right.
Which I was just thinking about that the other day. It's a new decade
already.
Already, here we are, and
we'll have to have you back in the next decade.
The next decade.
Yeah.
But it's a tough time for some people that are unemployed and so forth. So it's not an easy situation. Coming into the Career Center, and if you're in that spot. And we help people with their unemployment benefits too.
Good.
So that's another thing that we can.
Please come back next year.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Just enough time to recap the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Rain's arriving later on this afternoon. It's milder, at least, into the mid-40s. Not much of a change temperature-wise tonight. The rain continues all day tomorrow. Much nicer on Sunday and a little cooler again on Monday. Thanks again to Ron Yakibuchi from the Masshire Quincy Career Center. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Monday at 11:30, the new president of Eastern Nazarene College, Jack Cannell, here on Currently in Quincy. We'll see you then.